Hello, I'm Andy Cobb, member of League of Women Voters of the Greater Dayton area. I'm here today with the candidates running for the office of Representative to U.S. Congress 10th District. There are two candidates running for one open seat for this position. Those candidates are Desiree Timms, Democratic, and Mike Turner, incumbent Republican. Mr. Turner, a candidate for the position, regrets that he could not be here today because of a prior commitment. We will start our interviews by having the candidate tell us about herself and why she chose to serve in the position of Representative to Congress 10th District.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I am thrilled and honored to be here and wanted to make sure that I made time to have the opportunity to speak to you all regarding my candidacy. My name is Desiree Timms. I am the Democratic nominee here in Dayton, running for Ohio's 10th District, which includes Montgomery County, Greene County, and parts of Fayette County. I am the granddaughter of sharecroppers. I'm a proud product of Dayton Public Schools, graduate of Dayton Dunbar High School, and I'm the first in my family to attend and graduate four-year college and law school. I'm running for Congress because the American dream is out of reach for too many. As I said, my grandfather was a sharecropper in the Deep South. He migrated to Southwest Ohio in the late 1940s as part of the Great Migration with a first grade education and was able to climb his way to the middle class, able to build a home, own a car, and provide for his family. Today, there are people with graduate degrees who can't climb their way into the middle class, and that's a problem. It's time for change. The people I've spoken to around the district and our community are excited about change and the possibility for job creation and opportunity, educational opportunities, and hope. So I'm running for Congress to help work for the people here in this district because it's time we have an advocate in Congress who will fight for us, who will stand up for us to ensure that the American dream is, in fact, within our reach.
Thank you. First question. A U.S. representative is tasked with working in the best interests of citizens in his or her state. What do you believe is the top priority of Ohio citizens, and what will you do to work for those interests?
Yeah, a top priority for our community is job creation, infrastructure, ensuring that we can remove military style assault weapons from our backyards that belong on the battlefield. You know, just last year, just looking back in a year, 15 tornadoes ripped through our city and our suburb. We had a mass shooting that took 9 lives, and the KKK marched in our street. It is clear that we need someone in Congress who can meet this moment. It is very clear that we need someone who's going to work to ensure that justice is applied and is equal for everyone. It is clear that we need someone who supports environmental justice, who supports ensuring that we don't have a water boil advisory every month because our infrastructure is broken around the country, who will ensure that potholes and crumbling bridges, we aren't taking a risk to drive to work every day. Someone who can ensure that we can go outside and breathe in good, clean air. We have not had that. My opponent, Mike Turner, has a lifetime score of an F with the NAACP, has a lifetime score of an F with the League of Conservation Voters. He has a proven track record of neglecting the people here in this district. And that's why I'm running. What we need is someone who's going to ensure Congress has the power of the purse strings, that federal investment is reaching our community. We pay taxes. Where was FEMA during the tornadoes? My opponent voted against disaster relief funding days prior to tornadoes ripping through our community. And who helped clean up the debris? We did as neighbors. Our churches came together. We had clothes drives, toys drives. We pulled together, but taxes come out of our check every 2 weeks. So we have to ensure that we have someone who's going to Congress to make sure that our tax dollars are working for us, to make sure that we can have paid sick days, if we get sick or we feel a symptom, and we don't want to make sure that we're contributing to the spread of COVID. But we don't have those opportunities because the person who's representing us, who's been in public office for nearly a quarter century, has failed to deliver on those items.
Thank you. Please describe the ways you would reach out to your constituents, keep in touch with Ohio back home.
Yeah, so I had the pleasure of working under President Barack Obama in the White House and Senator Sherrod Brown in Congress in the Senate. And what I saw was strong public outreach programs and departments within those offices. It is very important that you are staying in constant communication and contact with the very people who sent you there to represent them. My opponent has never had a town hall. He's been in public office for nearly a quarter century. I have committed and I have pledged to hold quarterly town halls when I'm in Congress. And I'll hold those town halls in the reddest parts of the district. Part of being a leader is being able to sit down at the table and have uncomfortable conversations, even with people who don't always agree with you. That's what a leader does. And that's what I'm committed to doing to ensure that we have consistent and constant contact with one another. So, quarterly town halls is something I pledge to do. And I look forward to working with the people here of Southwest Ohio and the Miami Valley. It's so important that we stay in communication with those who represent us so that they can hear our interests and our needs.
Definitely. Thank you. How do you think the U.S. is handling the COVID-19 pandemic? Do you think testing is adequate? What would you do to help end the threat of COVID-19?
Yeah, so today we have more than 110,000 positive cases here in Ohio. Nearly 4,000 people have died. COVID is real. It is an invisible enemy that landed on our doorstep, and we have to make sure that we're following the science. What I would do differently and what we need to do is to make sure that we're following the science. We've seen other countries have some success, but we're also able to see from some countries where people beat it and they catch it a second time. And so there are so many myths out and misinformation that, frankly, is deadly to people here on the ground. We have to make sure we're protecting our neighbors from this virus. What I would do is to ensure that we follow the testing. I would make sure that we had social distancing intact. I would make sure that we have mandatory masks. We've seen some of this leadership happen around the state of Ohio and around the country from our mayor, um, who said, you know what, I want to save lives, and this will save lives. We have to listen to doctors like Dr. Amy Acton, Dr. Anthony Fauci. We know that these people are experts in studying disease, but history repeats itself. We have casebook studies on the 1918 flu pandemic. We're able to study what went wrong there. We're so blessed to have the internet to be able to stay in communication with each other, and even for some people to work from home. But we have to make sure that we're following the science and doing as best we can to keep a social distance to protect each other from this virus. It's very dangerous, and it's something that we're going to continue to battle, and we're going to get through it together. Uh, the American people, when you look at our history, we're resilient, we're strong, and we always bounce back. And we will bounce back from this together.
Very good word. In closing, we would like to provide you a time for a closing statement.
Yeah, I am so honored to be the first African American Democratic nominee and to have the opportunity to be the first woman to represent this district. I am so honored and grateful to all the people who've opened their homes and their time and volunteered to ensure that our message of change gets out to the people here on the ground, because we do have that opportunity. It is unfortunate that Mike Turner has a pattern of not showing up, just like today. He's not here, but he spent tens of thousands of dollars this morning spreading lies about me on the airwaves, but couldn't find an opportunity to again join us for a community conversation about what he plans to do in Congress. It is unfortunate, but we have good news. I grew up in a Baptist church, and we always talk about good news. And the good news is that change is on the way. The good news is that we're going to have a champion in Congress who's going to fight to bring jobs and opportunity back to the Miami Valley, who's going to fight to make sure that we have more than 5 colleges and universities here, that those students get good paying jobs. That if you have a graduate degree, you don't have to worry about taking 3 or 4 jobs to pay your rent. We're going to have someone who supports the post office to make sure that you can get your medicine and that you can cast your ballot. We're going to make sure that we have someone who votes for clean air, clean water, infrastructure, educational opportunities, and hope. We all deserve it. So I know that we see the news sometimes and we get exhausted and we get a little weary, but we can't get tired. We have a lot of work to do, and I'm going to need all of you guys to get the job done. Let's do it together. I'm Desiree Timms, Democrat for Congress. Again, so honored and humbled to be here, and I look forward to working for and with you guys in the future.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your participation today. Good luck in your
Thank you.
campaign. The League of
Thank
Women
you.
Voters encourages all candidates to run an issues-oriented campaign. Our goal is to educate the voting public, strengthen our elective political processes. Look for the League's Voters Guide in libraries and on your doorsteps the week of October 12th. Election Day is Tuesday, November 3rd. Early voting begins October 6th at your Board of Elections, or you can request an absentee ballot. However you decide to vote, your opinion matters and helps make our democracy work. Thank you.